it's very important. I mean, the idea of you don't know what you don't know, and you can live in that bliss, but you're not going to move yourself forward. So, taking leadership or the fact that I am an owner of a business to heart, and that there's a lot of families that count on Superior Crane to provide for their family and things like that. You have to be moving forward, and if you're stagnant, you're going in the wrong direction.
Here's part 2 of Ryan's interview. We talk about the family business, transition, personal development, and takeaways from the military. Let's jump right into it.
So who was Ryan Healy in high school, and why did you decide to join the military?
Ryan Healy in high school was a kid that enjoyed playing sports, and realized he was going to college to play sports first, party second, and school somewhere along the line. So really it just got to the point of the military was something I always appreciated and felt drawing to. And when I realized that I didn't have a good plan, I wanted to go be a soldier. I mean, and that was what did. Again, took my ASVAB test and scored pretty well on it. And they said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be a soldier. So again, signed up for the infantry, and they're like, really, that's what you want to do? And yeah, if I'm going to be a soldier, I want to go be a soldier. So got in, and the rest is history that way. So,
So what was the transition like for you once you got out?
Transition was hard. I mean, I'm a guy that always wanted to make my own path, but again, while I was in the military, my mom had a stroke while I was on deployment, and family is something that's very important to me. So that was one of the main factors that led to me exiting the military. Again, there's always the pros and cons to what the military time was, but again, I did enjoy my time in the military. But the transition coming out, it's what is my purpose or what is my value now? So I had a hard time. I mean, I tried to find a job at the time and kind of bounce around to a couple things. And like I said, the good Lord guided me back this way, and got me back ultimately into the family business. But it was through some missteps on my own part that kind of pointed me in that direction. So it was good, and like I said, I live a very blessed life that way, and it got me to where I truly wanted to go. But at the time, I wasn't necessarily steering it the way it needed to go to get me to where I was at. But that's that. So
awesome. So I know you focus a lot on personal development and things of that nature. You go to the gym every day. You actually coach and teach a class in the morning, but you also read books as well. How important has that been for you, since getting out and, getting a level of focus?
It's very important. I mean, the idea of you don't know what you don't know, and you can live in that bliss, but you're not going to move yourself forward. So, taking leadership or the fact that I am an owner of a business to heart, and that there's a lot of families that count on Superior Crane to provide for their family and things like that. You have to be moving forward, and if you're stagnant, you're going in the wrong direction. So anything that you can take, and again, some books are better than others, and I make the joke that every leadership book is basically got the same principles with different names attached to it, but working to find that little nugget in each thing and searching for that is important to make sure that you're moving yourself forward.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are 2 to 3 takeaways that you took away from your military experience that you still apply today, and why do you think that's led to your success?
Military, again, the government has got it down to a science on how they tear people down and build people back up. I mean, there's no denying it, and you can sit back, and especially when you reflect on it after the fact, you can sit there and just go, I see what you did there and what you were doing. Accountability, discipline, and honor would be my 3 takeaways. Discipline is required to be successful at anything, whether that be personally, professionally, anything that way. And again, the military does a good job, if you're willing to do it, in instilling that. Honor comes down to, you do the right thing and the right things will happen to you. I mean, and again, you get what you put into the world, you get that back. It may not necessarily be a straight line to those things, but again, if you do the right thing, in the end, it's going to work out for you. The situations you're put in the military they're not the norm, right? I mean, so you can go talk about leadership, you can talk about doing that, but again, time spent in the military with other people and working to solve some of those situations or being put into things outside of normal comfort it reveals your true self, right? So the fact that it's by no means am I the toughest, baddest person out there by any stretch of the imagination. And then as I get older, it's obviously going down less and less and things that way. But challenging yourself and finding that in day-to-day life or looking for those challenges to prove that you still have whatever it is, gives you that desire, that drive to move forward and tackle things and look for those other opportunities that if you're complacent, you're just not going to find. So
yeah, absolutely. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. What is it like, for you? I know you work in a family business with your brother and your dad. What is it like for you to work in a business with your family?
It's a great thing, honestly. Like I said, family is something that I believe in, and I'm blessed to, like I said, my father works here, my mother worked here until the point where she retired. I sit right next to my brother on a day-to-day basis, and we get along a lot better now than what we did when we were younger. But on top of that, my wife works here, so I get to see my wife. She's in about the farthest spot away from my office, and she reports to my brother rather than reporting to me. It works out better that way. But I get to be part of seeing my family on a day-to-day basis, and again, as my dad is getting older and things like that, that time spent, even if it is at work working through issues or things that way, is just more time, right? And the only thing that's undefeated in this world is time. So getting that extra time and having the ability to work on a path where we all share a common goal. We may not be exactly in line on everything, but we know what we're trying to do as a group. As a partnership, and working with the two of them on a day-to-day basis, it's the best scenario it could be. The idea of another family or things like that stuff could all play into it, but at least with family, I know the core values that we were raised on, and the things that we believe in as a group wholeheartedly, and the direction that we're going in. And I don't have to double check or worry about things that way, because I know that my family's got my back in this situation to make sure that as a company we're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. One of the things that we are trying to share with other veterans who are looking to start their own business and become an entrepreneur is just sharing with them some of the challenges that businesses face as well. It's not doesn't always look pretty, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. What are some of the long-term and short-term challenges that you face in business?
Sure. The big thing is, and it kind of goes back to the idea of the books, right? You don't know what you don't know. So having good mentors or finding people that have forged the path in front of you is the best way that you can do it, to try not to repeat mistakes that people have made. Don't necessarily. I'm a stubborn guy, and I will keep running into a wall to try to knock it over. But again, if you don't have to make those mistakes, don't. And again, it doesn't look pretty every day. There's plenty of times that goes home. I make the joke again. I'm gray from my kids first, but work second. It's not always going to be right, perfect, and things like that. There's still going to be problems. It doesn't matter. You surround yourself with the best people you possibly can, but there's still going to be issues. There's still going to be problems. There's still going to be those things, and it's how you react to it and in where you're coming from, and your goals behind that are going to lead that. And again, going back to do the right thing. I mean, if you do the right thing, it'll work out in the end, and I'm a firm believer in that, even if that's not necessarily the thing you start off with. And kind of like military, failure is not the end. If you give up, that's the end. So, it may not necessarily be the first thing you start with, and you may have to pivot, and you may have to do those things. Don't be pigeonholed into, I do this specific thing. Just be flexible, be willing to talk to people, take in that information, and work it yourself that way too. So
that's great advice. If you could do it over again, and you had a piece of advice for a military veteran who's transitioning out of the military right now, and they want to start their own business or, get into a career that they love what they're doing, what advice would you give them?
Just find something that you truly want to do. If you have a passion for something, you'll eventually be able to make money doing it. Just be in that space. Don't rush. Take and understand what you're doing. You have to be intentional about what you do with anything, but you don't have to be in a rush to jump on this or jump on that. And as you transition, don't forget your worth. Again, yes, wearing that uniform is a very important thing, but you're an important thing too. So you don't have to get down or what's my worth or what's my value in things like that way. Just focus on doing good and doing right, and it'll work out for you in the end, and things like that. Finding a good mentor or somebody, the advantage that we have versus people that have exited it in the past is that there are people like yourself and organizations out there to help veterans and things like that. And the support for veterans is out there. So there's resources out there. Don't be in a hurry just to get out. Find out, take those pamphlets that they're giving you and those things, those tools that are there for you because there's a reason that they're there. And again, when in doubt, like I said, work to find a good group of people to be around to support yourself. And again, not that people need to necessarily do exactly what you're going to do or things like that, but having support around you, you don't have to carry it by yourself, and keep pushing that way.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that too. Last question.
Sure.
Before Ryan leaves this earth, what impact do you want to leave in the community with your business, in the state of Wisconsin or in the world?
All right, that's deep. I want to help people, and helping people can look a lot of different ways. Obviously, there is a direct impact of helping customers solve their problems with cranes. The beautiful part about the crane business is that until they redesign manufacturing, cranes are going to be a part of it, because you got to be able to pick heavy stuff up and put it down, whether that's in loading it, making it, or any of those processes. So that's a pretty easy one. But it's how do I help my community to, whether it's push people back into the trades so that people can make a good living. Obviously, our team members here at SEC, how do them helping us, in turn, we get to help them back and provide a good life for them and the people that are believing in what we're doing and making sure that we get people in to be part of our team, because that's going to improve the quality of what we're producing. Like I said, every person that we bring on here, we hire on with the hope that at some point I'm going to throw a retirement party for them, or hopefully somewhere, some part of the lineage of the Healy family is going to throw a party for them, because now, unfortunately, I'm getting to the point where there's a lot of people coming in that are younger than me. So if I'm still around at that point, then I did something wrong. But it's how do I help people to solve their problems as customers, help the community to build a better community, because again, putting good out in the world, you get good back. And again, obviously taking care of our team here to provide them with the best life possible, because that will help everybody as a result of it.
You can check out part 1 of Ryan's video here. And if you'd like to check out another episode, you can see that one here. And if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next video.